Okay. Well, hello everyone. My name is Maggie. I'm a Vice President Academic Affairs at Brighton Students' Union, and tonight I have the pleasure to welcome you to our annual Students' Union Excellence Awards, which I'll be hosting. This is our 4th annual Brighton Students' Union Excellence Awards, and the Students' Union has run it in partnership with the university since the start. We celebrate the best of teaching, the best of staff support, the best of student representation at the university, and the best past leaders and supervisors. We have 11 categories, one of which is Course Rep of the Year, and includes an award given to reps within the schools and the partner colleges. We'll be talking about students and staff and how they demonstrate excellence at university together. We have speakers from the senior management team of the university, information services, students, and the rest of the full-time student leadership team helping me present the awards tonight. Raechel Mattey, who is from NUS and has recently been elected for her 2nd term as Vice President Union Development, will be our keynote speaker. So before I present the first awards, for those of you who are winning or for those of you who are highly commended, may I ask you to come on stage from the right-hand side where Candice will welcome you. You'll be able to get your award or certificate. I can ask you to stay to take a group photo, and then you'll be able to leave from the right-hand side once again. And please do feel free to grab a mug on your way. So without wasting any more time, I will start with the first award, which is for Postgraduate Supervisor of the Year. So I'll be calling the highly commended people and the winners on stage first. So can I have Jim McLaughlin, Mary Darking, and Nancy Barkley to the stage? This award recognizes the special work that academic staff do to support students on some of our most demanding courses, both taught and research. Presenting this award is Phyllis Newton, who is the Students' Union Vice President Wellbeing. Please welcome her on stage.
Thank you. Okay, so just to make a start, this lecturer from Brighton Business School was recognised by his students for his unique approach, bringing together the home and international students on his course in real community. They particularly wanted to recognise the time and effort he put into organising trips to Belfast, Brussels and France. Jim McLaughlin is highly recommended for Postgraduate Supervisor of the Year award. Okay. This senior lecturer for the School of Applied Social Sciences was nominated by her students for her supportive nature and her approach to helping students settling in, often on one-year courses in Brighton. Students wanted us to know she was effective and supportive. Mary Darkin is highly commended for Postgraduate Supervisor of the Year award. This senior lecturer in education was recognised by her students for her tireless work for their cohort. One of her students mentioned that they had always dreaded mathematical classes until they had this lecturer. Supporting the students she was supervising, she's made a huge difference to them, both as learners during their postgraduate certificates in education, but also as teachers themselves. She's led by example and has succeeded in getting her students through one of the toughest postgraduate courses we run. Nancy Barkley is highly commended for Postgraduate Supervisor of the Year award. And I'm pleased to announce the Postgraduate Supervisor of the Year award winner is Nancy Barkley.
Thank you, Phyllis. So the next award is for Individual Sports Staff Award. And for this award, could I call Lorraine Roberts, Matt Homer, Claire Carvey, and Jason Porter to the stage, please? Administrators, support staff, and no specialists, no academic staff are key to our university working, and we recognize the tireless effort they put into supporting students and academics in quality education. To introduce all the highly commended and give this award, I would like to ask Holly Kavanagh, our VP Activities and Events, and Giri Patel, our Pharmacy School Rep, to the stage, please. Please welcome them.
This student support and guidance tutor based in Hastings is the kind of tutor who is a key part of the campus. When students bring her a problem, they're confident she'll help them out and things get fixed. But more than that, they also know she's integral to student events and charity work in Hastings. Lorraine Roberts is highly commended for the Individual Support Staff Award. This academic program administrator in pharmacy and biomolecular sciences has been nominated in a number of categories, including those that he couldn't win in. He's recognised across the board as helpful and supportive to students, always happy to help, and calling everyone by name. It's amazing how he can remember everyone, and he knows exactly what they want as they walk up to the school office. He's always going to be the face of PABS for me, and I don't know what the school would do without him. Matt Homer is highly commended for Individual Support Staff Award.
This course administrator in health professions has been nominated by students. They wanted us to know that she's been there from the very beginning for her students, even before they were students. She makes the University of Brighton stand out among other universities and kept her students in contact during their difficult placement years and supported them as they applied for jobs. Claire Carvey is highly commended for the Individual Support Staff Award. From personal experience, having studied the Humanities programme down at Pavilion Parade, I'm very happy with this nomination. This academic programme administrator in Humanities has also been nominated in a number of categories he wasn't eligible to win. The students who nominated him feel he's been there for them during their entire time at university, a solid link between the institution, the academics, and the students themselves. He's precise, he's cheerful, and he actually cares about your personal welfare and academic progress. Jason Porter is highly commended for the Individual Student Staff Award. This year, we have two individual student support staff award winners, Jason Porter and Matt Homer.
So the next award is Group Support Staff Awards. For this, can I call representatives from Hastings Campus Library, the Employability Hub at Eastbourne, and the caretakers at Mistress House to the stage, please? The Group Support Staff Award recognizes the non-academic support staff teams that work together to provide services for our students, and we want to recognize the difference they make to students. To present the highly commended and the award, I would like to welcome on stage Paul Cook, who is our Vice President Campus and Communications. Please welcome him on stage.
Good evening, everyone. So let's start with the Hastings Campus Library team. This group of information services staff were nominated by students for their work supporting study in the library in Hastings, taking on board suggestions and adapting the library for the students. One nomination said, helpful, friendly, diligent, kind, funny, polite, experienced, reliable, a whole day's worth of adjectives. So the Employability Hub team. This group of staff on the Eastbourne campus supports students throughout finding their placements, one of the most stressful parts of university. But this team has gone above and beyond in supporting students and understanding their individual needs, wants and passions, getting a real insight into what individual students want out of their placements. And then we have the caretakers from Mithras House. The next group of staff have been nominated for this award because of how they have support architect students who often work late nights on their projects and often struggle at the end of the day when the building closes to pack away their models, save their work and pack their things away. This team make it possible for architecture students to do their work, especially during the busiest time of the term, and they always bring a smile and positive attitude to their work, even when it's gone 9 o'clock and everyone is trying to get out of the building. And this is why the caretakers at Mithras House have been highly commended and are the winners of the Group Support Staff Award.
Thank you, Paul. So before we start giving the awards to our course representatives from the different schools and colleges, just a few words about how the Students' Union supports course reps. There are over 950 course reps at the University of Brighton, spread across 5 campuses and partner colleges. They are elected on each course by their school or college. We support them with training in the autumn term and a conference in the spring term. We give them the opportunity to attend the National Course Rep Conference organized by NUS, and this year we had 5 representatives attending this conference. We have a dedicated staff member, Kathryn Mcconnell, who provides exceptional support for reps with complex issues throughout the year. They're essential to driving quality within the schools. They identify problems, recognize success, and most importantly, they can help build solutions. They take from their own time to represent their fellow students. So for our first section of Course Reps of the Year awards, can I call Cornelius Mattey, Jima Ibrahim, Emma Vankova, Annabelle Monks, Beth Ricketts, Kyle Frank, and Jenny Wood to the stage, please. We are recognizing Course Rep of the Year for Brighton Business School, School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences, the School of Education, the School of Art, Design and Media for Sussex Downs College, and for the School of Environment and Technology. We'll start with the first one, who I'm afraid is not here today. The course rep has been highly recognized for his work. He's an all-round volunteer within his school. He makes sure his students are involved in decision-making, and he's really been motivated to make a difference. He's also been nominated in several categories in our volunteer awards this year, and has been one of the representatives to go to the National Conference of NUS. So I'm going to announce the winner for course rep of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences, and this is Cornelius Mattey. Although he's not here, can we give him a round of applause? The next course rep is recognized as a real intellectual by his peers, always available and willing to help with any queries his students have. The course rep of the year for Environment and Technology is Jima Ibrahim. Please give him a round. The next course rep has been recognized by her fellow students as someone they could really rely on, someone who sorts things out. She's played an active role, and she set up the school's academic society to engage students in their chosen profession. So the course rep of the year for Brighton Business School is Emma Vankova, who is not with us today, I'm afraid. So another round of applause for her. The next course rep had a real impact on her arts course, communicating issues and solutions to the course boards, really enabling her fellow students to thrive due to the change she's helped bring out. So the course rep of the year for Art, Design and Media is Annabelle Monks. Let's give her a round of applause. The next course rep has been recognized for her enthusiasm and helpfulness by course mates, and is recognized for his hard work, even after his draining commute from London. So the course rep for Applied Social Sciences is Kyle Frank. Please be joined. The next course rep of the year is for one of our colleges, and is recognized for helping her whole class for their 2 years on the course, and has taken a leading role in her community. The course rep of the year for Sussex Downs College is Jenny Wood. So last but not least, this course rep has been highly recognized by her fellow education students, going above and beyond, even through personal difficulties, to ensure that the needs of her fellow students were met. She was professional, dedicated, and passionate about her role. So the course rep of the year for education is Beth Ricketts. So now I'm going to present a special award, which I'd like to give to a particular group. During my 1 year as a VP Academic Affairs, I learned that there are many great things about this university. One of these are the great course reps, who we just discussed, who have the power to bring change, who are essential to our university and the quality of our education. Reps are managed in partnership with the university and in partnership with each individual school. They volunteer their time to improve the student experience, but in order to do this, they have to be supported from their school. This support comes in different forms, supporting them in meetings by allowing their voice to be heard, supporting them to set the agenda and raise the issues that matter to them, supporting them to form communities within their course, and empowering them to do extracurricular activities. This all means that schools strive to ensure that reps know how important they are to the university and to driving the quality of their courses. Having in mind everything said so far, there is a school we would like to celebrate for being exceptional. A school which not only supports its students, its course, and its school academic reps, but makes these positions beyond doubt honorable by making students highly desire to be elected to be representatives. Two of the societies that won our volunteer awards this year are from this school and have done truly amazing things for students within and outside this school. The school academic rep post has been highly contested this year, 5 candidates for one position, which is more than any other school. This school has a great number of trained reps. Training from the SU is offered to all, but this school makes sure reps actually attend, no matter their difficult schedules. This school makes its students stand out from the crowd and is an example of what a true student engagement looks like. Because this is a prize award, I would like to have a representative from the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences on stage to accept the award. So if you give them a huge round of applause. So the next award is the Student Engagement Award, which really relates to what we already talked about. So may I call on stage James Cotry, Jacqueline Elsom, Pippa Tutraka, and Sarah Jane Ryan to the stage for the Student Engagement Award. This award is about lecturers who recognize that students' input into their teaching is essential and it can help them constantly improve. For this award, can I call on stage Carol Burns, the University of Brighton Registrar and Secretary. Please welcome her to the stage.
This lecturer was nominated across various categories for his work in the School of Health Professions in podiatry. He's recognised by his students, not just for his clinical expertise, but for his emotional intelligence and his supportive and empathetic nature. Just as he teaches his students to approach each patient as an individual, this teacher has approached his students as individuals and adapted his teaching to get the best out of them. James Cawtrey is highly recommended for the Student Engagement Award. This teacher from the School of Pharmacy and Biomolecular Sciences is recognised by her students for adapting her modules and making improvements on an ongoing basis, and involves her students wholly in this process. She doesn't just seek feedback, both positive and negative, she acts on it and uses it to improve her work and inspire her students. Jackie Elsom is highly recommended for the Student Engagement Award. This lecturer has been absolutely fantastic about working closely with course reps and emphasising the importance of feedback to the School of Education. She practices what she teaches. Not only has she been adapting the course for incoming first years based on this cohort's information, she's adapted the rest of the course, and where students are assessed, ensures that she works with the same technology to help them. Pippa Tutraka is highly recommended for the Student Engagement Award. This individual has been nominated as an incredible support for all students in the School of Health Professions going on physiotherapy clinical placements. She's taught her students to get the most out of their placements and facilitated this process, working closely with students to have an input into their placements. Sarah Jane Ryan is highly commended for the Student Engagement Award. And this year's winner of this award is James Courtney.
Congratulations. So the next award is the Inspirational Teaching Award. And for this, I would like to invite on stage Suzanne Simmons, Rodrigo Lucena de Meo, and John Kaplan. Please welcome them to the stage. This award is about the kind of teachings that students remember for a lifetime: innovative, inspiring, and engaging. I would like to introduce Kandi Sarma, the president of the Students' Union, to give this award.
This tutor has gone out of her way to support her students in the School of Nursing and Midwifery. She's been described as oh so knowledgeable, but also very approachable. Her students have nominated her because they feel she's a role model as a nurse, and her teaching inspires them to strive for greatness in practice, supporting them with issues as diverse as personal, placements, or academic concerns. Whether she's lending an ear or pushing her students to do better, she's essential to their success on one of our most demanding courses. Suzanne Simmons is highly commended for the Inspirational Teaching Award. This lecturer is the kind of lecturer who makes students realize how important their relationship with the academics is. From introducing students to chocolate chess to illustrate marketing technique, through to the interest he takes in students' further careers, this lecturer has demonstrated his passion for his subject and for his students' learning. Dan Bennett is highly commended for the Inspirational Teaching Award. Whether it's through dialogue, presentations, solo reflection, group work, case studies, or games, this lecturer in the School of Sport and Service Management is passionate about teaching students about hospitality, even while engaging in personal development himself. His students want him to be recognized for his work, and not just because he's mastered the difficult trick of remembering all their names from day one. Rodrigo Lucena de Melo is highly commended for the Inspirational Teaching Award. And finally, a lecturer one of his own students described as just a little cuckoo, demonstrating a real passion for bacteria and all sorts of microorganisms in the School of Environment and Technology. He's inspired his students to feel confident with his engaging style of teaching and confidence in his students. John Kaplan is highly commended for the Inspirational Teaching Award. So today we have two winners of the Inspirational Teaching Awards. Unfortunately, one of them wasn't able to join us today, but we would like to award Rodrigo and Suzanne with the Inspirational Teaching Award.
So now we're going to start with the PASS Awards, and could I welcome on stage Kathryn Mcconnell to present these awards?
Okay, I'm Kathryn Mcconnell. I'm based in the Centre for Learning and Teaching, and I'm here on behalf of the team who coordinate PASS across the university. It's with great pleasure that we're celebrating today the efforts of students and staff in making PASS the success that it is. PASS is a peer learning scheme that runs in many universities across the world, and Brighton is part of a growing community of institutions committed to giving students this high-quality opportunity to learn with each other. To give you a sense of scale, PASS began in 2009 here at Brighton, initially as two PASS schemes working with about 20 student leaders. PASS has grown steadily over the past 5 years, and we are currently training around 200 leaders across the next academic year, available to about 1,500 first years across 9 schools on 4 campuses. The purpose of PASS is to provide support for first year students in their transition to university life. It gives them the opportunity to develop effective study habits, make friends on their course, discuss student life and build their confidence. The leaders are usually from the second and third year, and they plan and facilitate weekly study sessions on a voluntary basis. They receive training in leadership and facilitation skills and are supported by their past supervisors who run regular leader debriefs and observations. Our research has shown that PASS can have a very positive influence on students' learning and motivation. It can contribute to improving their grades. However, the effect of PASS goes way beyond assessment, and it's been reflected in the students' comments that we're going to hear today. So we invited first-year students to nominate PASS leaders for an Excellence Awards, and the nominations we received were overwhelmingly positive and demonstrate the number of ways that the leaders have impacted on the first-year experience. The leaders show great skill in combining many roles. They are a facilitator, yet a leader, a role model, mentor, and a friend. Without the dedication of the PASS leaders, the PASS scheme would not be the success that it is. So for the PASS Leader of the Year award, could I call Sophie Daligan, Laimara Carnegie, Gareth Fear, and Rhys Sanders to the stage? Sophie Daligan was nominated for her work with students from the School of Education, in particular bringing her knowledge of the placements procedure from her own understanding and demystifying the process for her students. She has been a caring coach who's taken real pleasure when her students have gone on to succeed. Gareth and Laimara were nominated for their work together for education students. They have a far-reaching approach to being a PASS team. They've provided a wealth of resources and information, support, advice and activities for their students to help them to adjust to university life. Their students consider them their friends. And Rhys Sanders has been nominated by a number of her students. They've told us that she's insightful, motivational and inspiring, fun and articulate. They wanted us to know that she's a mind of sage knowledge. She's been available and supportive, using all the resources that she had available to her to give her students a positive insight into studying at Brighton, making a real connection with the students that she supported. And this year's winner of the PASS Leader Awards is Rhys Sanders, who unfortunately can't be here, but I'd like to say highly commended to Laimara. Okay, in addition to the leaders, we'd like to recognise the time, effort and innovation that the staff acting as PASS supervisors have put into making this happen. Supervisors work very hard to promote PASS to academic colleagues and students, and they provide the leaders with support and advice and also ensure that the logistics are in place to make sessions run smoothly. We asked the PASS leaders to nominate their supervisors, whose nominations reflect their appreciation for their enthusiasm, support, availability and encouragement. We'd like to highly commend Gabby Barker from the School of Applied Social Sciences. Could Gabby Barker come to the stage? Gabby's leader students have recognised her understanding and constructive ideas, describing her as amazing, helpful and resourceful. Gabby supports around 30 leaders a year and has been supervising PASS for 4 years. Well done, Gabby. The winner of the PASS Supervisor Award goes to a colleague, Steve Kilgallen. Steve has been the supervisor of one of the largest PASS schemes in the School of Pharmacy and Biosciences for the past 3 years, supporting around 40 leaders a year. This year was Steve's last year as a supervisor. It will be focusing on developing maths and stats support for students across the university, another excellent project that builds on the principles of PASS to encourage student success and achievement. Unfortunately, Steve can't be here, but if we can show our appreciation for his award.
The next award is the 21st Century Teaching Award. For this, can I call on stage Bhavik Patel, Alison Bone, and Philip Ashton, if you can welcome them. The 21st Century Teaching Award is about academic staff who innovate in the classroom using technology. The pace that technology is changing seems to accelerate each year. We recognize that staff don't just keep up with changes, but are making things better by being at the front of the change. May I ask Stan Stanier, who is the Assistant Head of Information Services, to the stage to present these awards.
Thank you, Maggie. It's a very great privilege to actually make this award because it's very close to my own heart. Bhavik Patel is a senior lecturer in pharmacy and biomolecular sciences and has been nominated for his use of technology in delivering flipped teaching, combining the use of technologies such as Twitter to develop online communities that augment face-to-face sessions, as well as being famous for his novel take on the Apprentice TV programme to support laboratory work. Bhavik Patel is highly commended for the 21st Century Teaching Award. Alison Bone is a principal lecturer in the Brighton Business School and has been nominated for several categories this year. But from the students' comments, it was clear that she has truly excelled in the use of technology. Her students particularly appreciate her use of technology in the classroom to wake them up, although I'm not entirely sure they need waking up. From multiple choice questions to online written resources, she equips her students with a variety of ways to understand difficult concepts, making her teaching truly interesting and engaging. A particular favourite and celebrated across the board is the use of both written and verbal recorded feedback. Alison Bone is highly commended for the 21st century. Philip Ashton is Assistant Head of School for Environment and Technology and has been at the forefront of the use of new technologies for many years. Students have nominated him particularly for his use of computer-aided design for plans in the classroom, meetings and seminars by Skype video conference, and the use of cloud computing. Philip Ashton is highly commended for the 21st Century Teaching Award. And this year's winner is Alison Bone.
So now I move on to present another special and also a surprise award for one exceptional department, which again doesn't fall in any other category. During my time as a student at the university, myself and I suppose many others have never come to realize the scope of work of this department. When we think of a truly positive student experience, in addition to some outstanding teaching and of course great events and activities put on by the Students' Union, we're often thinking about this department. When we as a Students' Union work with students and ask where we should focus our energy so they can get the very best out of their time at university, they talk about this department more often than not in a positive light. When students reflect on what has supported them through their journey at university, they'll think of the support that this department offers. Perhaps it is the fact that it offers so much, so well, in so many areas of students' life, it almost goes unnoticed. For many, it simply is the university doing what university does very well indeed. This department provides students with online resources for their excellent pieces of work. It manages 5-site libraries with over 500,000 library items and looks after computer rooms for individual and group work. All these things fundamentally underpin a quality learning environment. By working with teaching staff willing to innovate, this department enables students to receive online and video feedback that they value and can use to improve their work in future. Different technology gives tutors the opportunity and the support to record their lectures, again enabling innovation in the classroom and helping to create more of the facilitated learning, face-to-face contact time students value. This department succeeds to operate a long list of activities throughout university, from reprographics to learning technology development for studios giving industry standard experience to our media students, to an exceptional level of online resources, and it always puts the students' experience at the heart. Perhaps it's not surprised that the Hastings campus library team was highly commended for the Group Support Staff Award for its ability to take on board student suggestions and to adapt the library to student needs. This is a department which might not be necessarily necessarily visible for the hard work it does for students, but without it, it will be impossible to run a 21st century university. Finally, throughout my experience as VP Academic Affairs, it's one of the departments I knew I can always turn to, whether to pass on major feedback from students for its services, or to request a ASU initiative to be put on the library screens, to suggest the setup of a book sale swap initiative on Student Central, or to simply pass on a student complaint about the surprisingly hot temperatures in the library. No matter how big or small the issue, I know I always receive a response which allows me to feedback positively to students. And for all these reasons, it is my pleasure to give the Vice President Academic Affairs Award for outstanding contribution to the student experience to information services. Please give them a round of applause. And if I can invite representatives from this department, including Stan Stanier and everyone else that is part of this department, please come on stage to get your awards. So now we'll move on to the second half of our Course Rep of the Year awards. And for this, can I please call on stage Cassandra Ibiza, Victoria Mitchell, Esme Stirrup, Rebecca Hudson, Anna Bonner, and Nina Summers to the stage, please. We will be awarding Course Rep of the Year for Computing, Engineering and Maths, the School of Sport and Service Management, Sussex Coast College, Hastings, and we're also awarding separately for Health Professions in Nursing and Midwifery, which are in the process of merging into a new school, which we'll recognize as one school next year. I'll start with the first Course Rep. And this Course Rep was nominated in a highly contested school. She's been nominated by her fellow Course Reps for her work, not just to highlight the issues on her course, but the fantastic aspects of teaching too. So that's why Course Rep of the Year for Computing, Engineering and Maths is Cassandra Ibiza. This Course Rep was nominated for unfailing support and attitude, and her reliability and assertiveness in helping her fellow students to get the best from their studies. This is why Course Rep of the Year for School of Health Professions is Victoria Mitchell. This Course Rep has been highly involved in the assessments and resources for her course, including helping to clarify marking schemes and being part of a series of reminders and information to support her cohort. So the Course Rep of the Year for School of Nursing and Midwifery is Esme Stirrup. Please give her a round of applause. The next award is for the Course Rep who's been involved across the board at her college as a mature student and a center for her academic society, involved in events management and development of the arts at Hastings, as well as being available to her fellow students. The Course Rep of the Year for Sussex Coast College Hastings is Nina Summers. There are two Course Reps for this school we would like to recognize. Anna has been involved as a leader since orientation week. She's been part and parcel for her cohort's university experience and has been central for their course community and personally recognized by her fellow students. Rebecca has worked tirelessly to ensure that her fellow students are heard and has been central to communicating between the staff and students in the school. So Course Rep of the Year for School of Sport and Service Management are Rebecca Hudson and Anna Bonner. For the Achievement Award, could I call Ashley Scrace and Albert Silias to the stage, please? The Achievement Award is given to staff who excel in making a real and personal difference to their students, often in difficult circumstances. To present this award, could I call Christina Plum to the stage, please?
Thank you. This individual wasn't meant to be teaching this year. In fact, he stepped in when there was a real difficulty for a number of students on the module at short notice. He's there for his students, whether they are on placement or moving through the professional accounting modules, reachable via email, even outside of working hours. The students who have nominated feel he's made a real, meaningful difference to their time at university and given them a real confidence in their study at work. Albert Siliers is highly commended for the Achievement Award. This individual, based in one of the partner colleges, Sussex Coast College Hastings, has been celebrated by her students across all of our categories for her work on their modules and courses. The judging panel for this award wanted to recognize the sheer breadth of nominations. Her students wanted to recognize that through difficult times for her, she has consistently done everything she needed to support her students. Whether it's pastoral, personal, or academic, she's there for her students and has enabled them to get the best out of their time studying with her. They wanted her to know that without a doubt, she has been a constant inspiration for all of us. Ashley's Grace is highly commended for the Achievement Award. And the winner of the Achievement Award is Ashley's Grace.
The next award is the Partnership Award, and for this, can I call on stage, you might just come back on stage, Ashley Scrace, Ken Turner, and Alison Bone. The Partnership Award is a new award this year, celebrating staff who have worked in partnership with students together to improve their courses and university experience. So this tutor at Sussex Coast College Hastings has been described as nurturing, inspiring, and positive. She gives her students the confidence they require to take risks in their artistic practice, and that is the cornerstone of active learning in partnership. The students who nominated her are themselves highly involved with their courses and their practice, and their input is why we want to celebrate her enthusiasm. So can I have a round of applause for Ashley Scrace, who is highly commended for this award? The nature of this tutor's approach is to make his students take ownership of their learning, and this is reflected in a commentary against his name. His students weren't afraid to tell us that the subject of philosophy of language was challenging for them, but this tutor enabled them to make an investigative and independent approach to their learning together. They also wanted this tutor to know how much they loved the occasional link to YouTube link in his emails. So can I have a round of applause for Ken Turner, who is highly commended? This lecturer in law in Brighton Business School has taken a taxing subject and turned it into a process of learning with her students. She has constantly adapted and refined her teaching in partnership with her students. Understanding both the rigors of the subject and how the students best incorporate the law they're learning into their wider practice, in particular her human resources students. Alison Bone is highly commended for the Partnership Award. Winner of the Partnership Award is Ken Turner. University Course Rep of the Year is our way of recognizing that some students take their voluntary opportunities as course rep so far that they're not just an example of a volunteer, but an example to the university of what its students can achieve. To give this award, I would like to welcome on stage Raechel Mattey, our special guest, Vice President Union Development at the NUS. Please welcome her.
Hello everyone, it's a real honour to be here today to present this award. And on to the first nomination. This course rep was recognised by a range of her students for the work that she's delivered to bring them together and to make their voice heard throughout the School of Computing, Engineering and Maths. She finds ways of improving the way the school is learning by pitching new ideas to lecturers and staff, by holding short monthly meetings with students to keep them together, and by tackling issues by taking issues higher when she needs to, and always remembering to report back to the school when her students think it's great. Cassandra Eberfer is highly commended for Course Rep of the Year. Onto the second nomination. This course rep has been a real all-rounder and has been recognised not just as a course rep, but as a volunteer officer of the Students' Union too. Students' comments have been broad. He's passionate, he involves them in making sure things change for the better, he's helpful, he's resourceful, and he's even had students who praise his ability to disseminate information and set the stage for the university to make changes. He's gone above and beyond. Cornelius and Maddey has been highly commended for University Course Rep of the Year. And on to the last nomination. This course rep isn't just recognised for her work as a course rep at Sussex Coast College Hastings. She's recognised as the centre of a community of students. She's been determined to improve the School of the Art there, and during the time on the foundation course in illustration and graphic design, and has achieved a number of things, including one of the Students' Union's flagship academic societies in our partner colleges. Whether she's working to build stronger connections between the college and the Brighton campuses here at the Grand Parade, helping students access financial funds to support them, or organising events, she's made an impression as a mature student with caring responsibilities who's become the centre of her community. Nina Simmons is highly commended for Course Rep of the Year. And on to the winner. The University Course Rep of the Year is Nina Simmons.
So now we have another special award, and for this I would like to welcome Candice Arma to the stage to present this.
This award goes to someone who, without whom the University of Brighton simply would not be the same. Yes, he was fortunate to have worked with some outstanding colleagues and students, many of which we are celebrating tonight. However, those of us who have had the good fortune to work with him, learn from him, and benefit from a university that has been well placed over the years to deal with the countless challenges thrown at it are really the lucky ones. He once said, "The University of Sussex has a great history, but the University of Brighton has a great future." That future is in no small part down to him. Professor Stuart Lang joined the university in 1990, the year where the first student loans were introduced, weighing in a staggering £400 a year to help with living costs. Nobody was paying fees. To think, today that £400 wouldn't cover a month's rent. Times have changed, in many ways for the better, but for those of us graduating with debts of £30,000 or more, perhaps we'd appreciate a slightly lower burden as we enter into the next stage of our lives. Anyway, we could stand here tonight. We could stand here tonight and celebrate many achievements. We could talk about astute planning, wise advice, and a forgiving heart. We might mention the civic and social impact of this university and the genuine role it plays in our local communities. We may also reflect on the fact that 24 years anywhere is a long time, but in higher education, this is many lifetimes. With some rough calculations, we might appall ourselves when we think of the thousands of hours he spent in meetings, supping on poor coffee, or we might prefer to think that he has influenced the education, opportunities, careers, and successes of many hundreds of thousands of students locally, nationally, and globally, for which we are grateful. All of these points are worthy of award. However, tonight we are going to focus on the views of students. Stuart has always been a champion for students, working with the union over the years to ensure the views of students, not as a customer, but as partners, were at the table, listened to and acted upon. When students have spoken, things change, whether this be at committees, when a lone student voice pipes up at a daunting table of professors and says, hang on a minute, or through the representative and feedback systems, or even the NSS. Stuart has ensured the views of students are listened to, and where people needed to act, they did. He did this not because consumerism and rating scales are great things to be pursued. In fact, we all know they are not. However, Stuart knew that even though we're not going to be right all the time, and in higher education no one has the answer for everything, that students can be trusted and all views should be considered, and even the wisest old professor might learn something when a new and interesting point of view was introduced. Stuart wanted those points of views because students, staff, academics, technicians, these are the community of the University of Brighton, and to lead a community requires everybody's input. Perhaps this is why Stuart was such a great ally of these awards, where we focus on excellence and celebrate the very best of our university. Willing to be involved from day one, not only with the judging, but also with building confidence and support in the celebration of the views of the students throughout the university. We know, and I'm sure Stuart would agree, that partnership works. Whether that be at module, course, school, or institution level, when we focus on the good bits, of which there are many, and use this knowledge and experience to improve the bits that need it, things genuinely get better. This is what we mean when we talk about academic quality and quality enhancement. Not some new mantra coming from government or a funding agency, not another burden on staff that works beyond or way beyond their paid hours. No, we're talking about generating new ways that cause all of us to reflect on what's important and what protects real education. Learning and teaching amongst our community, building on the good bits, preferably bringing more people, staff and students along each time. At a course level, this is what a rep does, and we've heard some amazing tributes to their work tonight. Of course, this is what good staff do too. Perhaps this is why we receive so many nominations for these awards, and the judging is so hard. However, the judging, as hard as it was always easier with Stuart in the room. His advice, deep institutional knowledge, years and years and years of experience and understanding helped us through what was often a tricky path. However, Stuart was always certain of one thing: the ownership of the decision must be shared and agreeable to all, and he was simply there to help. Perhaps this is an illustration of the approach he took to his role as Deputy Vice-Chancellor and why it is so right that we are celebrating him tonight. So while we will all miss his sage counsel, willingness to listen, and his ability to solve what appears to be intractable problems, we should also wish him well as he goes on to bigger and better things, retirement, holidays abroad, and so on. So could I get a huge round of applause, please, for the recipient of the Vice President Academic Affairs Award for Lifetime Contribution, Professor Stuart Lang. And talking of holidays abroad, after all this, he's unable to be here tonight. So could I please ask Professor Julian Crampton, the Vice-Chancellor, to take the stage and accept the award on his behalf.
Thank you, Candice. So now I would like to introduce our special guest. I would like to welcome on stage Raechel Mattey, who, as I said, is the NUS Vice President Union Development. She has recently been elected for second term at NUS, and her work throughout the year ranged from Quality Students Union accreditation mark to the launch of the National Society of Apprentices. But I will let her tell you more about this, and please welcome her on stage.
Hello everyone, it's really great to be here celebrating with you today. I spend a lot of my time on the road, going around different student unions, universities and colleges across the country. It's actually my first time in Brighton, so please forgive me if I'm over-enthusiastic about being here. And as Maggie just mentioned, my job as Vice President ranges from a number of things to supporting student unions locally to become better organisations so that they can adequately support students on the ground to make a difference, through to making sure we're representing underrepresented voices out there. And I'm really proud to have launched the National Society of Apprentices this year. I'm just one of 5 vice presidents and one of 19 full-time officers in NUS, so we're striving to make sure that what we're doing is supporting student unions and students locally really achieve their full potential and breaking down barriers that they face when trying to achieve education. But actually, one of the more privileged part of the jobs is actually attending award ceremonies across universities and colleges, and to be able to speak to students and staff directly about NUS and how the impacts of students locally really does change student lives. And I think that's really important because I don't think we get enough chance to really celebrate that work. In a time where it's too popular with media to say that students are lazy, to say that we spend far too much time getting drunk, to say that we don't contribute to local communities, and you've probably seen a far wider range of headlines in your media as well. But NUS and student unions do a lot to not only combat that stereotype that exists for students, but like I said, we do a lot more to improve the quality and access of education and to improve the opportunities that you have to really change your perceptions and increase the chances that you have. It was a volunteering opportunity that I had at Swansea University. Yeah, you can hear the slight twang of a Welsh accent. That got me involved in my student union, and that was truly life-changing. Unfortunately, it wasn't through a transformative educational setting that got me, engaged and politicised, but it was actually just a dance society. But the chance to go in and lead, to run a community dance project, to engage over 1,000 students at my university, changed my entire course of life and my path within my university. And that's no unique setting. There's students in the room that we've heard of tonight that have done those changes and have experienced different things throughout their year that have led them to this point. And when I look here in this room, I see the potential in all the amazing things that you do to make education better. They're not insignificant. And despite everything that's going on out there, despite fees, despite austerity and the jobs market, I feel really hopeful. Because students are really, truly powerful. And you don't often get to see and celebrate the reality of what students achieve. Like the fact almost 1/3 of students in higher education currently volunteer. That's over 725,000. And the role that students play in the community is considerable. If you, the value of the time that students contribute to their community in volunteering is the equivalent of putting £175 million into the UK economy. And when you look at course reps specifically, we know that over 50,000 course reps in universities give up their time to improve the quality of their course. It's instrumental, and I'm really surprised that not more people are doing more research into the incredible impact that you have. And to set the scene, in the past few years, we've seen a shift across the student movement for what being a course rep and a volunteer in a student union actually means. And actually, Candice articulated it far more better than I'm going to now around the role that's moved away from students as consumers of an education to students as a partner of their education. Doing more than just saying what's good and bad, doing more than surveys and questionnaires, and actually shaping and partnering with lecturers to create a better education for all. And actually, what's been really welcoming tonight is to see that it hasn't just been something you talk about. And throughout all the nominations and throughout the awards, it's really clear that it's actually been a culture change within this university, and partnership is absolutely apparent throughout. And that's not because students pay, and it's not because students have gone up, although some people are trying to convince students that's the only reason they deserve to have a say. That's not true. And students deserve to be listened to, not just because they're paying, it's because they're doing the learning and it's their student experience. And because it's important to recognise that learning can be a real challenge. If you're not used to it, when your prior qualifications don't fully prepare you for higher study, when you have to hold down 2 part-time jobs to earn enough money to live, when you have family or dependents to take care of, and for the majority of student circumstances now, this is the norm. It's no longer about devoting yourself full-time to learning. We understand the challenges students faced while studying and the diverse needs and supporting them, and lecturers play a huge part of that to make sure that that can happen. So taking into account some of those wider concerns and constraints, it's even more incredible that students give up time, whether you cast yourself as an activist, a volunteer, a campaigner, a representative, a leader, a captain or a chair. However you choose to define it, it's making a huge difference. And some of those achievements tonight have just been phenomenal. A particular part that I've enjoyed that's actually unique to this university is tonight we've got to celebrate both the work of students and lecturers all at the same place at the same time. And it's really important that we take that time to celebrate the hard work lecturers put into teaching students. Tonight can only really reflect a small dimension of the excellence that we have across universities in the UK. NUS has worked tirelessly to support student unions, and over the past 2 years we've launched a programme called the Student-Led Teaching Awards that has really tried to take partnership to the next level and supported students to celebrate fantastic teaching. We know, at least in part, because teaching is hard, and we know that you work really long hours and that you face all kind of pressures in inside the classroom and out. And we know that all the hours you put into teaching aren't always recognised, and that despite all that you do your best for students. What you do is amazing, and students across the UK are definitely grateful for it. But it's more than this. Our best, most inspiring teachers show us something about how to be in the world, and that's something we don't celebrate enough. To be inquiring, to be critical citizens, to be able to use the knowledge and skills we have to actually change things. Teachers have such a profound impact on our lives, which is why I'm so very pleased to be here tonight to hear a few things that has supported Brighton students to achieve their potential. It wouldn't make sense for me to be here tonight to not take a quick look to the future as well as celebrate the past year. And this future year is an incredibly important time for students. With just under a year to the next general election, I think it's so important that the issues that students have talked about today are on the agenda, and they're too much of a powerful voice to be ignored. Because some of the changes you seek to make in your classrooms, on your course level, at institutional level, are controlled nationally. And we already know there's a huge disconnect between students and the ballot box, between students and politicians, and between students getting their voices heard. Getting students to engage and hold politicians to account, and more importantly, getting education on the agenda, is something that NUS is going to be working with student unions a lot with over the next year. And I hope to see many of you student activists in the room supporting getting those educational challenges forefront in party manifestos. Because your changes and the important things that you're doing here matter nationally, and we need to recognise that. And I just want to end by just saying a massive congratulations to Brighton Students' Union for all the hard work they've put into creating this fabulous event. This year, Brighton Students' Union has led the way in community organising across the UK. From building communities across all campuses and employing community organising interns, it's something they should really be proud of. On top of that, you've also had NUS here yesterday launching the brand new Alcohol Impact Project. Your student union is winning for students both locally and nationally, and ensuring projects and campaigns really benefit and reflect the diversity of Brighton students. So a huge thank you to the student unions, for the sabbatical officers, and for everyone in the room that does something to change student lives. I look forward to seeing that work that you do in the year ahead and for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much to Raechel. She came all the way to London, and she just came back from Korea, so it's really good that she's here. So now I would like to formally bring today to a close and to let you all go to our reception. But before I do that, I would like to have a few people to thank. So first of all, I would like to thank the sabbatical team, Candice, Paul, Fliss, and Holly, who have helped me present the awards tonight. Kathryn Mcconnell from the Centre for Learning and Teaching, Carol Burns from the Senior Management Team of the University, and Julian Crampton, Vice-Chancellor of the University, Stan Stanier from Information Services, Gary Patel, our school rep for the School of Pharmacy, Christina Plum, and Raechel Mattey, once again from NUS, for presenting the awards tonight, and for bringing a bit of sparkle to our evening. I would like to thank all of our student volunteers, course reps, school academic reps, and other student volunteers for their hard work throughout the year in making our university better. We run these events for you. I would like to thank all our student staff who are meeting you at the door and helping us run the event. I would like to say a special thank you to Brighton TV and mostly Naomi and Sarah for helping us record the event. I would like to say another special thank you to Rich Stuart, who is the Student Engagement and Retention Assistant at Students' Union, who has been key for the organization of this event, chasing up the winners, making sure they attend, and highly commended staff and students as well, and overall making this event a success. And last but not least, I would like to thank all of you for coming and making this event very special. So could I please call to the stage everyone highly commended, all of the winners for a group photograph, and everyone else, please head on out and enjoy the reception. And once again, thank you for coming.